Hi, welcome to the Deep Discipleship Podcast with your host, Doug and Kellee. And we're on the Deep Discipleship team. And we would love to be able to use this time to help you better understand the great resources in deep discipleship. So today we're talking about my favorite topic. We're talking about student leadership. So Kellee, tell us about, there's a lot of student leadership resources in deep discipleship. Tell us about some of them and maybe what's your favorite.
Yeah, there are so many resources within the student leader section of Deep Discipleship. We give you everything from an ebook on how to reimagine student leadership. It doesn't have to look the way that we think it does. We give you role cards so that you and your students are on the same page about what their role as a student leader is. There is a retreat in there for your student leaders. There are leadership training in there. But I think the one thing that we are most excited about, and the thing that is my favorite, is the leadership pathway, which is this really powerful tool that helps you to develop your students into leaders. It lays out questions and prompts, and it's this really easy to follow process that allows you to put into practice immediately, taking students from students to student leaders.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I gotta say one thing.
Doug, what do you think?
I love if you've ever been at a conference and heard me talk about leadership labs and how to create leadership labs, that's what's in Reimagine Student Leadership. And that can be a game changer because I think traditional student leadership teams are pretty dead across churches. Some people are doing a great job, but they're very few. Most people who want to do them, it's just very difficult with students' busyness, but leadership labs are really possible. That's Reimagine. That'll be a great tool for you to check out. The lessons are really good if you want to just do a twice a month, training for your students. That's really good. But you're right. It's the discipleship pathway is my favorite. I kind of want to hold it up, but I know Ramon is going to put it into the video here. But I love the discipleship pathway because it answers the question, how do you develop a student as a leader?
Leadership.
Oh, did I say discipleship pathway?
Leadership pathway.
I say that all the time, but I meant leadership pathway. You're exactly right. The leadership pathway is just a really easy step-by-step process to develop a student as a leader. And we got too many pathways. That's the problem. We got to cut down on the pathways. But
pathways are great.
But I love pathways because I think oftentimes when we do student leadership, we think, okay, do an application, get them on the team, then maybe do an assessment, and then what do? Do we read a C.S. Lewis book? Do we read a John Maxwell book? What do we do? We're stuck, right? The leadership pathway, almost a discipleship pathway again. The leadership pathway really solves that for us. It really helps us with that. So let me walk you through it. First of 5 steps is invite. This is my favorite step. So you look through all of the qualities of a leader, and we give you sort of these qualities. You pick 3 or 4, 2 or 3, whatever you think is best. You write those down. And then you answer this important question. I think this question is more important than anything else is, what is the potential of this student if they become a leader? In 10 years, what would God do through them if they were to develop as a leader? I think this is really important because I don't think anybody is talking to students about this. I think most people are talking to students about get good grades, make the starting team, be in the play this year, be first chair in the orchestra. But no one's really talking to them about, hey, what if you were to develop your leadership skills now, and everybody has them, what would it mean for the kingdom of God 10 years from now? And I want to draw that picture for them. I want to paint it. I want them to see what it could mean. And then I want to ask a student, hey, would you, based on your qualities, would you get into a mentoring relationship with me where I can help you grow as a leader, right? I've done this with hundreds of, maybe thousands of students, right? And not one student has ever said to me, no, thank you. I'm not really interested in that. Students,
I love that it's based out of who they are, right? There's so many portraits of a leader listed. And so we're going into it, setting them up for success already because it's based out of here's what I see in you, not here's this unrealistic expectation that I'm inviting you into.
Okay, Kellee, this is huge, what you just said, because I think I just got done with working with all of our college students for the summer. And I would say the number one problem that most college students are having in their development as a leader is they don't know themselves. And if they do know themselves, they don't like it and they're trying to change it. And I'm just telling them, you're not going to be able to change your leadership personality. It's hardwired into you. It's in your DNA, right? And the quicker you like who you are, the quicker you come to grips with yourself and who you are, wow, you're going to be way more effective. So knowing yourself is a big part of it. And when we can give them a portrait of themselves, boy, it really helps in that area, doesn't it? Okay, first step, invite.
Yeah.
Second step is is discover. We want to discover students and who they are. This is where leadership assessments are great. Leadership assessments are really great with students who aren't interested in leadership. Because sometimes students look at leadership and they go, I see the apathy in adults, maybe some of my teachers. I see divorce amongst my parents. I see the U.S. government, not a great example of leadership. And they go, why would I care about leadership? Man, it's terrible. And so what I'd like to do is I like to kind of change the subject here and discover and talk about them. They have a favorite subject, and it is themselves. And if we'll talk about their favorite subject, they'll be really interesting. And that's what a leadership assessment is. So I love the LeaderTrex leadership type assessment to start with. Are you a doer, a thinker, a mover, or a relator? And then we give them a whole profile of their life. And they usually read it through after they discover which one they are. And they go, that's me. How did you know? And I think students...
There I am.
Yeah. I think students think they're unique, but they can't prove it. And leadership assessments are really great because they help students understand how God has wired them to be unique. I love spiritual gift assessments. We have a great one at LeaderTrex. In fact, I think we have the best one in all of church. And I'll really defend that for a long time because I think that's really true, because it's not the test itself. It's the training afterwards on all of the different ways that you can use their giftedness that's so important. I think that Strength Finders has got a teen version. I think it's really great. I think Myers-Briggs might have something similar to that. I use a lot of assessments. I think they can be really helpful. We have 7 different student assessments written in students' language, Bible-based. LeaderTrex has got, I think, the best Christian youth assessments that are in the marketplace. We did it with Dr. Jim Galvin, who used to be a leadership development guy at Youth for Christ. You might have read, if you have a New Living Translation study Bible, he wrote, and he's just the greatest guy in the world. And he's the best at assessments in the country. We worked with him together to create those. It's really good. But here's why we do assessments at the end of the day. I gave you a lot of reasons, but I want students to understand this formula. Burden plus passion plus vision equals mission in life. And I want students to understand that when we come to know Christ, we don't go right up to heaven. We stay here on earth because he has a mission for us to do. And this is what I really want them to know. That mission will bring them more joy and happiness than anything else in life. Anything else in life, it'll bring them the most joy. And so connecting with that mission, understanding that God's given you a burden, he's given you a passion, he's given you vision if you spend time in prayer. And those 3 things will equal your mission in life. And God has equipped you. He has shaped and wired you for mission. And discovering that is probably the most exciting thing in life there is, I think, because it allows us to serve Christ and bring glory to him. And that at the end of the day is the greatest part of life. So step 1, invite. Step 2, discover. Step 3, equip. This goes to, and by the way, after step 2, that's usually where everybody stops. So these next 3 steps are really important. Equip step. There's 2 parts of leadership. There's the doing and the being side. Let's start with the being side. It's the side students don't want to talk about. We're going to talk about empathy because leaders today need to be empathetic. And what I have found is that most students don't even understand what empathy is or how to show it to other people. So we're going to walk them through empathy. We give you a chart. You probably see it here on the screen if Ramon does it right. And you'll see the empathy chart we give you that shows traces of depth and warning signs when they don't have empathy. And there's going to be a lot of things here you're going to want to challenge your students on, talk about, go through with them. This is probably the area I come back to the most with my student leaders and talk through, because the being side of leadership is what sets you up to actually do something. If you're not being a leader, no one's going to follow you. And when you have no followers, you're not a leader. And then we've got the equip side, how to set up a training, how to train somebody, how to set up skills and train them on those skills, which I think is really important. So this is the steps in equip, the being and the doing side of leadership. And then our fourth step is risk. It's really challenging the student. You got to get this right in leadership development, because if you stay in their comfort zone, they won't grow. If you take it so challenging, you put them in the panic zone, they'll quit, right? It's the growth zone. And how do you get them in the growth zone? And so we talk a lot in the pathway about how creating a project for them or a leadership experience for them needs to be just right where they're at. Like I said, I just got done with about 25 college students, and boy, some of them could take tons of challenge. Some of them could not take a lot of challenge, right? And it needed to be customized for them, the experience, in order for them to grow. So that's a big key in leadership development. Okay, so we got invite, we got discover, we got equip, we got risk, challenge, you might also call that. The fifth step is sharpening. How do we actually sharpen our students over a long period of time? I like 4 questions for sharpening. I've used these for years. Engagement. Are you turning people on or are you turning people off? Are you engaging with people, or is your mindset? The other day, a college student said to me, I have resting anger face. I'm like, yeah, that might set people off the wrong way, right? Like, are you engaging people? Are you not engaging with people? The second question I like is focus. Are you distracted, or are you committed to the mission? Those are 2 questions, and just thinking those through helps students understand where they are. I find that most high school students and middle school students start a leadership project like on fire, like they're going to do great. Halfway through, they lose energy, and pretty quickly they're gone. They start great, they finish terrible. And so helping students understand that leaders finish well, they finish strong, they do great stuff, I think is really, really important, and helping them know that. Third thing is decision making. Are they indecisive or are they decisive? Indecisive leaders will not have people follow them for very long. Their answers will take too long. If they try to make everybody else the co-leader, I notice this is what students oftentimes do, is like, hey, let's get everybody's opinion. Nope. Leaders don't get everybody's opinion. Leaders look at the mission and they drive the team towards accomplishing the mission. And so I think this is always a really hard one for students, because they're indecisive for this one reason. They don't want to tell their friends what to do because they're afraid their friends don't want to do it, right? That's a big problem. We have a lot of adult leaders that are in this boat as well too, right? And so we want to really help them understand. Go ahead.
I think that's also where we can go back to that empathy, right? If you are empathetic, it's okay to not be timid. If you're empathetic, it's okay to be deliberate and to be decisive, as long as we're empathetic with that, right? It's okay to have those qualities as long as we're treating people with, we're open to different viewpoints. We ask for input, but it's okay as a leader to make the decision moving forward.
Yeah, I think it's a big key. I think if you want to be an effective leader today, being decisive through relationship is the way to do it. Yeah. And then the fourth question, momentum. Are you spinning your wheels or are you getting traction? These 4 sharpening questions I use all the time with my staff, with people. I think these 4 questions are the great questions you can use in the sharpening process. So the leadership pathway is, you got to invite them in to a relationship with you. You got to help them discover who they are. You got to equip them with both empathy and skills. You got to make sure that your leadership experience for them is challenging, but not so challenging that it makes them quit. And then you've got to continue the process over time by asking good questions. The pathway takes you all the way through this and will help you be able to do this with each student. So here's a couple of keys. A lot of times when I'm doing this at conferences, people ask me, Doug, do you just hand them the pathway? Do you just say, here you go, be a leader? I'm like, no, this is for you. This is an adult volunteer, adult leader tool. This is not for students. I never show it to students. This is a tool for you as someone who is mentoring a student. That's a key. Second of all is the pathway does not go like this. It goes like this. Just look at the life of Peter and Jesus as he was mentoring him. Peter was up and down all the time. Sometimes I'm talking discovery. Sometimes I'm going back and reassuring them of their portrait as a leader. Sometimes I'm going back to empathy. Oftentimes I'm going back to empathy. Often I'm asking myself, are they in the comfort zone right now? Are they in the growth zone? Or maybe are they in the panic zone? So I'm always asking myself that question. So this is an important thing to be able to have, because the process of developing a leader is not like an uphill climb. It is up and down, back and forth, and topsy-turvy. So this is really helpful for those two things.
Yeah. Yeah. And the other thing I'll say about this too is what's great is we wrote it for students, right? But it works for adults too. So if you are needing some training for your adult volunteers, if you're trying to recruit new adult volunteers, this is also a great resource to be able to use with that audience as well.
Yeah.
Because they are leaders.
They are. They are. And you can use it in so many ways. And if you want to do leadership development, but you've never been trained in it, this tool makes it real easy. Just follow the pathway and it'll be really easy to be able to use. All right. We're way over our allotted time. Way over our allotted time, which is pretty normal and kind of why I was going fast. But Kellee, thank you. Hopefully those of you that are using Deep Discipleship, this will be really helpful for you to see what is in Deep Discipleship that you can use. If you're still checking out Deep Discipleship, I'm just telling you, these tools for leadership development are going to be a home run for you. It's going to work great. All right. We will see you again soon on another episode. Peace out.